publicly authorized CIA covert operations in Venezuela. If you know anything about Venezuela, then you know that they are sitting on the largest oil reserves in the world. We also know that they don't produce significant amounts of cocaine or fentanyl. Most cocaine that is trafficked through Venezuela is produced somewhere else, and there is not really any fentanyl coming from Venezuela. Now, you can look at the history of America in the Middle East when it comes to regime change and oil, but you can do with that information as you wish. But let's talk about what it means when the Trump administration deems these people narco terrorists and blows them up out of the water without any trial or evidence, without any kind of due process. So first, some of the people who were killed weren't even drug smugglers. Multiple were identified as just fishermen, and two survivors from one strike were released by local authorities because there was no evidence that they had committed any crime. But even if they were drug smugglers, they're still human beings. They deserve a trial. They deserve due process. You don't just blow people up because you suspect that they're criminals. That's murder. And if you're thinking, well, the punishment fits the crime, they bring drugs over, they kill people, so they should die. Let's talk about that. So right now, about 70% of all drug overdoses in the US are due to fentanyl or other synthetic opioids. About 75% of people who are addicted to opioids or fentanyl were first exposed to them through prescribed meds. The opioid epidemic as we know it now started due to the Sackler family, Purdue Pharma, and American pharmaceutical companies. They knowingly lied to doctors when they marketed OxyContin as non-addictive, and they paid doctors to prescribe the opioid. Half of all opioid addictions started with a doctor's prescription, not with cartels. As far as consequences go, Purdue Pharma pled guilty in 2007, but they only had to pay a fine, and they were able to keep selling. No arrests were made. The Sackler family, who owned and controlled Purdue Pharma, they made tens of billions of dollars. Then they moved billions of dollars offshore so that they wouldn't have to lose it when they filed for bankruptcy, and also so that it would be shielded from the thousands of civil lawsuits that were filed against them. Then cartels started creating fentanyl to fill the demand that the Sackler family created. So if we're doing punishment fits the crime, why were there no arrests made in the Sackler family or in Purdue Pharma or in any of the big pharmaceutical companies that led to the opioid epidemic? But do we call the Sackler family narco terrorists? Do we blow them up where they stand without a trial or without evidence? If we're talking about America first, the opioid epidemic has led to 500,000 deaths, but we don't spend the same amount of energy and concern that we spend blowing people out of the water with fixing the systems that we have here in America that allow Americans to harm other Americans and play by a different set of rules as long as they're super rich.